The department has traditional and smart classrooms to ensure that the students get complete and updated facilities. The faculty are dynamic and have a strong tradition of mentoring and guiding students towards achieving goals and fulfilling them, keeping the social responsibility as its central core. The department encourages students to explore new technologies by conducting workshops, national or international webinar, guest lectures, certified trainings, and other technological events like project, paper presentations, and also provides various opportunities to the students to engage in technical and non-technical activities beyond the classroom, like student clubs, sports activities, in-house coding competitions, cultural competitions, CSI activities, and more.
Ronak sir, kindly mute yourself. On the YouTube live, it is playing now.
Okay, but please let me know when the video is end. Okay, because from our end we are not able to.
Pavitro?
Yes, sir.
How many people are waiting there on YouTube Live?
Sir, 111.
So we can start now, right? Madam?
Okay.
Hello? Amlivan?
Hey everyone, my name is Shankar Chatterjee.
Yes, sir. Tell.
Should we start? Biplab sir?
Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon. Very good evening.
So, is that video played complete, Pavitra? Should I start?
Yes, yes, video is complete. You can start now.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Sir, let me introduce means from our side to all the attendees. Okay, so good evening and welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. I am Dr. Amrita Namchita, faculty member of CSE department. This event will be an opportunity for us where we will know about ChatGPT, which is a recent trending topic in worldwide. So before starting this event, I wish to introduce our Honorable HOD Sir, Dr. Bikamji Sarkar, and Honorable guest speaker of this event, Dr. Biplab Pal. I'm requesting to HOD Sir to say some words to attendees. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
So, a very good evening to one and all. I personally thank you all for your participation in this webinar being organized by the Department of CSE, JIS College of Engineering, and the Zreyas Technologies. So, as we might be knowing that this ChatGPT, the full form of this particular term is Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is nothing but a chatbot, right? And it was basically developed by OpenAI and was launched in the month of November 2022. Am I right, Biplab sir?
Yes. Yeah, actually, the project started long back. Actually,
but it was officially launched in the month of November, I think.
Right, that is ChatGPT 4. There was a beta ChatGPT 3 before, but you're absolutely right. That's something that works like human being is released only in 2 months back.
Yeah. So today we'll be knowing much about this particular terminology, I must say. This is a hot cake these days. No. So actually, the role of this chat GPT is versatile. It can write, debug the program, the computer programs, right? It can compose even musics. It can compose teleplays, right? Fairy tales and all. So many things this chat GPT will do for us in real life. So today, actually, we'll be eagerly waiting to learn how to enhance these coding skills and hence assure the employability by learning this chat GPT. So hope we all will benefit from this session and thank you once again. So over to Amrita madam.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your words. Now I want to introduce our honorable speaker, Dr. Biplab Pal. Now, Dr. Biplab Pal, he is the CTO and co-founder of many leading companies such as Machine Sense, JIS Technology, and Opti. So he is also a IIT KGP alumni. He holds more than 30 patents in field of IoT and IIoT. He also serves as an adjunct research professor in many universities. I want to thank to our speaker for giving us his valuable time and going to share his knowledge on ChatGPT. So before hand over this session to our speaker, I want to announce one notice to the attendees that you can do. We have question answer sessions after this event, and you can put your comments or any queries you can put on the YouTube chat box. Now, and we will also share one feedback link. It is mandatory to fill out that form to receive the certificate of participation. And that link will be active till 9:30 p.m. for half an hour. Without further delay, we will start our session. Now I am requesting to Dr. Biplab Pal to start this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amrita, and thank you, JIS Group, my students and colleagues. We are really passing through a transformative phase of history. And as it happens with all innovations in history, unless we are well prepared for the way the wind is changing, we all will be falling behind in our career. So let me start by introducing myself. So just a minute, let me see. How can I share this? Because it's not allowing me to share right now. Do you have any shared link? Because I need to share my PPT in order to give some demo and stuff like that. Okay, let me see the entire screen. Let's see. Okay, now I can do that. Okay, fine. So let me go to my slide first. So can all of you see my slide?
Yes, sir. We can see your slides.
Okay, very good. I hope that in YouTube, can you confirm this slide is shown properly? I mean, at least they can see this, because ultimately we'll be doing some exercise in ChatGPT itself.
Pavitra, can you see this slides in YouTube side also?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so first let me introduce myself. I'm CTO of Prophecy and Optic Technology that based out of Baltimore, Maryland, but we do have our R&D labs in Kolkata where many people work. So around 4 offices and labs out there. I'm also an affiliate professor in University of Maryland at Baltimore County. I'm in Information System Department as well as Center for Real-Time Distributed Sensing, and my focus has been in artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence is used mostly in resource constrained server like maybe Raspberry Pi or Jetson Nano. This is useful because ultimately, if AI has to transform the world, you need to make it work in a mobile devices, as you know that's what transform the world. So before getting into ChatGPT, first thing I should do will start talking to ChatGPT. It's a very really, I mean, you'll enjoy this. I mean, especially I assume many of the students are already engaged in cheating their professors, because what is the concern right now in our academic community, and as we talk to all the professors, and I don't take class, by the way, because I'm more into research. So any assignment now given to any US student, be it in class grade 6 or grade 12 or in master degree or bachelor degree, ChatGPT is doing everything. So their complaint is that they know some students are lagging behind, some students are advanced, like as a teacher, they grade it. But now they cannot grade anyone because all of them are getting right answer. Because they're not learning anything, they're actually using ChatGPT and getting them the answer. So what is happening here? I mean, I don't know whether you guys are doing the same thing with your professors or not, but I guess that at few days, as you understand that ChatGPT can do 99% of your assignment, you'll probably doing the same thing, which is, you'll figure out how to fool your professors and get a good grade. But the issue is that that's not really is going to help you out. It doesn't mean that if you do that, that's either going to be counterproductive either. The fact is, we are getting into a new paradigm in terms of the jobs. Keep it in mind when, I'm basically at 48, and when I was a student like you in IT Kharagpur and below that, at that time, even we didn't know that software career is a career. I mean, that, okay, there'll be something called computer engineering, like civil engineering, like mechanical engineering. But when we have been growing up, we never thought that there's going to be a profession like coder or software engineer that's going to be probably 90% of the middle class job in India. It was not thinkable in that way. So with the ChatGPT, we are getting into a new era of new kind of jobs, which doesn't exist today. And that's the fear and that's the hope. So I'll try to explain you. So my colleague Falguni will show you that how can you use ChatGPT, and in a matter of like 5 to 10 minutes, you can actually write the code to create any kind of mobile app that your professors or maybe some some of your employer have asked you to do. So you'll see some live example with ChatGPT. I'll also do some live example with ChatGPT to see that how can you use it for assignment and stuff like that. But really don't cheat, because that's not going to help you out. But it's important to note that you really need to use this system in order to make yourself better. Why? Because you see, today, if you're a fresher and you write a set of codes that looks like a code from the freshers, because those codes are not maintainable, not very high quality code. I mean, most of the employers, most of the people who have hired you, paying you, they will tolerate it. They'll know like, okay, the freshers, not, so well advanced. So we can put up with that kind of code. The challenge that you're going to face now, I'm not talking about next year from the job, nobody is going to put up with substandard codes anymore. Why? Because you don't need to write code anymore. You just tell ChatGPT what code to write, and ChatGPT will write the code, and then that means that this is going to be state-of-the-art, first-class maintainable code. But you have to know how to use ChatGPT to write that quality code, so that you are not behind. Because and that's the whole purpose of the seminar. Because engineering is always a tool. I mean, if you look at, and sometime you may wonder how the pyramid of Giza in Egypt was formed. When you look at that marvel, the fact is, even those days, there are a lot of engineering. The engineering was that how could you use some kind of pulley system and stuff like that to overcome the limitation of human power. So engineering throughout the history has only one meaning, that is replacing the limitation of human beings. Sometimes it was muscle power, sometimes it is a brain power. Today we are talking about limitation of our brain power that ChatGPT is addressing. So then you might say that, will the ChatGPT take away our job? Answer is no, and I'll tell you why. That's the whole purpose of the seminar. So I'll actually leave it there, and then Falguni will show you some practical example. That's how we'll run the seminar today. So, the best way to understand ChatGPT is by interacting with it. So first thing I'll do, I'll ask ChatGPT that why ChatGPT will transform life and career of a software engineer. And this is what I did yesterday. I asked ChatGPT, and I'm showing you right now, like, what the answer it has given me. Let me go back to my own ChatGPT one. So I hope you all can see my ChatGPT screen now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, this is a professional ChatGPT, meaning, that in last week it became, there is a free version and a paid version, and I was kind of forced to take this paid version because otherwise, most of the time when you log in, there are so many people log in, it's mostly unavailable. So it's what I'm working on is the ChatGPT Plus. It's a better model because it's a paid model. So when you go to ChatGPT Plus, you will see this default model and legacy model. So Falguni probably will give a demo with the legacy model. But default model is a little bit powerful, but that's available only with the paid version. And in fact, for you, the legacy version should be more than enough. So anyhow, so let us, so the way we do it, ChatGPT is ask him any question that, so all of you can see, right? Because I'm going to do some assignment in ChatGPT here, right? Okay, good. So I'm typing a question, right? How, let's ask this question. Transform, let's say, that way, software. So I'm asking a question to ChatGPT that how ChatGPT will transform software engineering job, right? I'm putting a question marks and let I submit it to ChatGPT. See what answer that this chatbot is giving. So you see, ChatGPT, first of all, it behaves like a human being. So first he becomes very humble, says that, look, I'm not going to transform software job directly, but I'm going to help you out, right? So listen to what he's saying, and I'm going to again explain what ChatGPT is giving the answer. Let me finish. So you see, I'm coming to the conclusion and then again the answer, and this is not the answer coming from me. This is the answer coming from ChatGPT itself, the bot, saying that he cannot transform the software engineering job directly, but my capability as a language model have the potential to offer significant benefits to software engineers and broader software development industry. And he has written like what are the 5 areas is going to help. I'm going to explain all of that. So natural language processing model, what it is that you don't need to be afraid of the word called NLP and stuff like that. What it means is that, see, for example, if you're a coder, you're a student coder as well, you write code and then code doesn't compile, right? You see a lot of error message. So you have to do debugging. And then your code may be inefficient because it might be doing consuming a lot more hardware resource than it is. Then you don't know how to test your code. So basically, what it is saying is that I'm not going to replace your job, but I'm going to be your assistant. You have to use me. So the entire message is that, look, I'm not going to replace your job, but I'm going to be an assistant and you have to take my help. And I told you, if you don't take the help, the standard of codes that you will write is going to be substandard, meaning you will be thrown out of the company and nobody will take you in the job. Because as of today, you write poor code, any company will tolerate knowing that, yes, these are the freshers, they are not being paid a lot of salaries. So it's okay, they will take probably 2 years or 3 years to be mature as a software engineers. But now with the assistance of ChatGPT, that's not what it is going to be. Because there will be students who may not be very brilliant, maybe very average student, but they know how to use ChatGPT correctly. And they're going to write smart codes. They're going to write much faster debugging. So basically, they are going to go ahead in this game, okay? So you need to be very, very aware that you need to use ChatGPT in your coding as much as possible. Otherwise, you will be falling behind. And then the fact is that today, whatever it takes, let's say if it takes 20 software engineers to do a job, tomorrow this will take maybe 2, maybe 3. And that essentially means Good news is the salary of the freshers will be much better because freshers are now will be coding like somebody very experienced in 10 years. You get a very good opening salary. But the bad news is there are only two jobs instead of 20. You have to be among that top two and you have to show that you have a, because you are using ChatGPT, you are capable of writing very good codes. And I can tell you right now, if you walk into any interview and all the interviews today, you have to first pass any kind of coding exam, and then you will be basically getting into any kind of coding test. And I tell you, people will allow you to say, okay, take the help of ChatGPT and get me the best that you want. And if you can't do that, then you're doomed. So anyhow, so let me again go back to my slide, but this is what the answer you get from the ChatGPT. So now I'll do one more thing that, just to show that how much powerful it is. So, so I'll ask ChatGPT another question. Let's say, today and I'm going to give this as a live example. I say, I wanted to give a seminar on ChatGPT to the student of software engineering on how they should use ChatGPT to advance their software career. Please suggest me how I should present my slide, what are the topic I should cover in this seminar. Okay, so let's do this funny experiment. What I'm doing today is a job because I'm trying to inspire you to learn ChatGPT. I'm telling you why it is important to your career. So let's see that how ChatGPT throws at me, like, what kind of preparation and what I'm supposed to tell you. So let's do that exercise as well. Okay. So, I'm just typing on ChatGPT. Say the focus of my So I'm asking our chatbot this question that I want to give a seminar on ChatGPT to students. Which topic should I cover? Focus of my seminar will be to inspire them to use ChatGPT more and more. Okay, so this is what, let's say, I'm going to do a job, and this is exactly what you're going to do in the future. Now you have so much of nice assistants who can do all the research for you, who understand your language, and see how powerful it's going to be. And I'm coming back to that, but let's do this. Let's ask this to ChatGPT. See what it's saying. So ChatGPT says it's a great idea. Here are some topics you may want to consider covering in your seminar on ChatGPT. So it says that, okay, you introduce ChatGPT, which I should do. He says you introduce natural language processing, which you should do. We'll do in a subsequent step. So the use cases of ChatGPT, discuss potential use case of ChatGPT. In fact, that's what the Falguni is going to do. Show some potential use cases, how to use ChatGPT. Of course, that's what we're doing. Limitation of ChatGPT, I'm going to discuss that. Future of ChatGPT, I'm going to discuss that. Benefit, I'm already speaking about. Example of ChatGPT in action. In fact, we're doing this. And then 9 is the thing. So basically, I didn't run this before. I'm just running it with you. And this is exactly what we're going to do as ChatGPT suggested. So look at this. I didn't feed them this. ChatGPT knows this is the best way to inspire you. And in fact, that's all we're going to do. But there's going to be certain difference. And as I'm telling, then you can say, oh my God, if the bot is doing anything, what I'm going to do, right? So this is the answer ChatGPT gave it to me. Now, here's the situation. Let's start from now, not on ChatGPT, but mine. So here's the situation. If I do everything by ChatGPT, right? That's okay. I'll do everything that ChatGPT has told me to do in this seminar. Then what is going to be my role? So there is an existential crisis of human being. And this is the same thing is going to be as the most of the software engineers. Because I can tell you, today, everything that a software engineers can do, 90% of the task can be done by ChatGPT. Falgun is going to show more. I'm showing you something that, when I'm asking Lucy how nicely he's answering me, and I just need to follow him. That's it. Challenge that is going to be that what I can do better, because you see, ultimately, some of you are having more than 90%, some of you are getting 70%. So there is a human inequality in IQ level. Some people are more intelligent, some people are less intelligent. Now, if ChatGPT giving answer for all, you cannot grade them. And in that case, salary is also going to be flat. Unfortunately, human society does not work that way. Human society by default actually needs a hierarchy. And without that hierarchy, no civilization, no system can work. In fact, today, when I talk to my professor's friend who have to take the class, their biggest challenge is they're unable to grade the student anymore, because a good student and bad student, everybody is basically taking help from ChatGPT and giving the answer. And ChatGPT is better than best students. So even the best students had to take help from the ChatGPT, and even the worst student taking help of the ChatGPT. And the fact is, it's impossible to figure out with what. So this is where the catch is, that how you use ChatGPT more effectively to surface. Now I'm giving you practical example here. So if I follow ChatGPT, how ChatGPT has instructed me to give the seminar, then anybody else can give the seminar. You don't need my position. I mean, in 22 years, I have founded new companies, so many patents, so many papers, teaching, research, etc. So whatever seminar I will give, even somebody from Kolkata with even student can give the same seminar, because all of us are using nothing but a ChatGPT answer. But this is where the human ingenuity should come from. And that's why I say that, okay, I heard what ChatGPT has said, but look how I'm now giving this seminar. So I will not actually follow what ChatGPT has told me. Instead, in order to understand how ChatGPT is going to revolutionize your life, career, and our rest of our life, I'll actually try to understand through this lens of history. I'll take a more human approach, try to understand history and try to see what ChatGPT will bring to us in our job market, in our career, etc., etc. So let us look at some of the major innovation that has transformed the human beings and society. In fact, Bill Gates have told that ChatGPT is second most important innovation after the innovation of printing press. Johannes Gutenberg in 1450 discovered the printing press, and that is considered one of the major innovation in human history that transformed our civilization. So why our age of science and technology and reason, the modern age, started with the Gutenberg press? Because prior to that, human being has to write the books. And when human being has to write the books, let's say human being will take entire 1 year to write down and copy a book. They will make maximum 3-4 copies of a book that will be stored in the libraries of Nalanda or Alexandria, like a few universities. So the human knowledge and accomplishment was not available to the most of the other fellow human beings. And it is with the innovation of the printing press, knowledge become a lot cheaper, because now you can print the book. Books are also expensive, but at least it spreads some amount of knowledge. And that knowledge of human being was very instrumental in starting the age of science and technology, right? And because I also love history, I tell you this, that science and technology used by the Greek, Romans, Indians, even in ancient time, was pretty advanced. But in the Middle Ages, they lost all of this because there was no printing press and there was no dissemination or the spreading of this knowledge. So it took Johannes Gutenberg to discover this printing press to revolutionize the knowledge market at the first hand. And today, what you see in social media, YouTube, it has made knowledge even super free. Right now, even you don't need to write a book. You can get an MIT lectures in YouTube. And as the knowledge becomes more and more free, what it does, it fosters more science and technology. It fosters more innovation. Okay. So ChatGPT is considered that level of innovation, that this is going to foster more innovation and more change, because right now knowledge is become even super easy to synthesize even. Now, the second most innovation that took place was the steam engine. Now, why I'm bringing the innovation of steam engine in James Watt? Because, this is the first time machine could replace human muscle power. Now, when machine replaces human machine and muscle power, then two things happens. And it's very interesting as it happened, and you can actually read the history more carefully to understand this. So first thing that was that no longer human muscles is required after the discovery of the steamboats. So one of the interesting thing happened, which is less known and less talked after. It is with this discovery, more and more women came into workforce, because when the muscle power is no longer required, obviously there is no disadvantage for the women to come to the workforce. And that exactly happened. US textile industry at the beginning of 19th century, they started taking more and more women. In fact, 95% of the workers were women in US textile factory. And actually, that single event eventually leading to all this women right and women equality you are talking about. But it required a technology to equalize the muscle power of the men and women, because you don't need muscle power at all. And in fact, why I'm saying this today, because now with the ChatGPT, you see, some of you may think that you have a more IQ, right? Because you can do some little better mathematics. Now, ChatGPT cannot do good mathematics today, but this is just a beta product. The next generation of ChatGPT will be able to understand the mathematics as a language better as well. Just a matter of 1 or 2 years, even there'll be better ChatGPT or similar product from Google or others going to even interpret mathematics. So what happened? When you see the discovery of steam engine equalize the muscle power between men and women, it no longer it's separated. You know what? The danger that you are getting into. Now, some of you might think that you are better student. It no longer holds. Why? Because ChatGPT is much better student than you. ChatGPT has already passed exams in MIT, Harvard, toughest school in MBA, BTech, and everything. Understand this important thing that's going to happen in future. Okay, it's very important to understand this. You might think you are a better student, no longer good, because even a bad student and good student, as I said, they're all going to perform in the same way to the ChatGPT. This is exactly what steam engine did. That when before the steam engine, women were not welcome in the industry, because everybody know men can work harder, they have more muscle power, they can do this. But the moment the steam engine came in, this became automated. US textile industry, 90% of the workers were women, and that eventually started the women revolution. And in fact, it changed the courses of history so immensely, it's unbelievable. It also started with the globalization, right? Okay, good. Now, third most innovation that we have seen is the domain of silicon chip, from transistor to the integrated chips and stuff like that. So today, everything you are doing, your smartphone, your computer, your internet, your industrial controller, social media, your reels, TikTok, internet, Google, everything is thanks to innovation and progress in silicon chips. So today, within 1 centimeter, you have billions of transistor and computation taking place. So human beings no longer need to do computation, which is a very important part of solving the problem, right? And essentially, it's the same silicon chips which is paving the path, which is basically leading the path to the ChatGPT. And I'll tell you why. Because ChatGPT is trained with almost billions of parameters. It is impossible without this advancement of silicon chips. So what is happening with the silicon chips is doing is that with the steam engine, as I said, human being has two essential things that you do in the job, right? Some people do the job using the muscle, hand, things like that. So steam engine innovation was replacing part of that. And then silicon chips started tackling human brain slowly but steadily. In first stage, silicon chips innovation was like a calculator, because that was easy thing to do, very deterministic. And then second stage is basically going to be ChatGPT, which is understanding and behaving like a human being. Understanding and behaving like a human being. So that, and not only that, behaving like a better student, not a better researcher as of today. It might be working as a better researcher even tomorrow, but today it is a better student at a BTech level or an MBA level or at a law school, where you are supposed to know something from the books. And ChatGPT has already learned all the books in humanity. It is trained with all the books in humanity. So it is good as a student, but it is not good when it has to think creatively, it has to do something new. And that part you have to understand. Okay. As I said, today's good student is no longer good student for tomorrow. Tomorrow's good student need to be creative, need to understand that whatever is there in the books, whatever has been created, no longer he can compete on that domain. But first thing you have to understand that, there is a fear, will the ChatGPT going to create havoc in the job market? Obviously, first thing to tell you, ChatGPT is going to replace 98% of the white collar job, like coding, middle management, decision making, accounting, many stuff that MBA does. So does that means your job is at threat? Does that means your job is at threat? Because potentially 98% of the job, as I'm showing you, ChatGPT can do amazing thing better than any student. So to get the answer again, we will look into the history. See, all these innovations, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, we don't know how it will play out, but at least we know what has happened in 1, 2, 3. Did it replace some job? Yes, it did, but it created 100 times more job. Silicon chips might have replaced some clerical desks, some clerical babus, we call, the Kiranis and all sort of class, but it created 100 times more jobs. So same thing will happen with ChatGPT. But this time, the challenge will be human beings need to be trained in a different way than it is they are trained today. Okay? And you really need to figure out, as I said, it's no longer good to be a good student because ChatGPT is a far better student than you. So you really have to think about what's innovation that you will bring in to the table that ChatGPT or these machines cannot do, because that's the value of a human being. And in fact, you do have a chance. Why? Because you see, one of the most important thing that we have, and I'll discuss these things like, in a more practical sense, after we understand how the ChatGPT technically works, is that ChatGPT has its limitation. Every technology has its limitation, because at the end of the day, it's an automation technology. Unfortunately, the limitation it has is seen as a human being, because human being can do a lot more, not in terms of computation, not in terms of a lot morning, but human beings are also very creative. We can create new things which ChatGPT cannot do. Now, I said that ChatGPT is writing novels, poetry. Yes, they're writing novels and poetry, but if you look at it, those are the novels and poetry written by a student. If you give it to any kind of creative authors, they already beat them hands down. Again, ChatGPT is creating music, ChatGPT is creating arts, but at a student level. Why I'm saying at a student level? Because in this case, ChatGPT has a serious limitation. It can only do things that human being has already done. Because after all, it's a supervised learning or a reinforced learning. Both are given by the fact that it's trained on the things that already exist, not on what it doesn't exist. So demand for the people who are more creative, who can think in multiple dimensions. The human imagination, keep it in mind, ChatGPT can do all the learning because it's a learning system. But ChatGPT cannot do imagination, the dreams. We as a human beings, we're very good at dreaming. We have imagination. And you say, sir, how the imagination will bring to the table of jobs. Well, that's why you need to look into what innovators and what entrepreneurs do. They come up with the ideas. Ideas comes from inspiration. And that is exactly the new idea, the new inspiration that doesn't exist today. That's what the human beings need to do, because any other ordinary job that is required by learning, be it learned as a research scholar or a mathematician or as a computer scientist, is going to be less and less relevant. Okay. Now, now let's come to some scientific aspect of ChatGPT. So basically, it's in OpenAI is a company, startup company based out of San Francisco, which is the owner of ChatGPT. This company is funded by Elon Musk, Microsoft, partly even our Infosys, and many companies are funding this for a long time. And this version is ChatGPT 3 that you have seen, and actually what Falguni is going to show. It has been trained with 175 billion parameters. Human being can never be trained, and that's why it's better than any of the best student in human history. Okay. It can only, ChatGPT can be only beaten by creative people like a creative writers, creative artist, a creative software coders, a creative researcher. Any average researcher just thinks ordinary that is already being there, you're no good. So in anyhow, so the fact is how it is behaving like a human. So there are 3 ways to train. So first level, there were, we call it as sometimes 0th level training. And as you know, the GPT, okay, I don't want to get into transformer, what is a large language model. I don't want to make you bored, but I want to give you a very paintable journalistic simplification of the situation in a training. So there are a couple of aspects. First is that they do some, it's a kind of an autoregressive model, and I don't know how many of you know what is called autoregressive models, a variant of that. So what it is that basically there will be a 0th order model, and then you'll do some supervised fine tuning, and then you will create a reward model from something called reinforcement learning. So what happens is that it goes through 3 layers of training. And in a final layer of training, they used a lot of cheap labor from Kenya who knows English better. So what happened is during the training, ChatGPT will create multiple response, and a human being will say, okay, if it is a response 1 to 5 to 6, this response 3 may looks more human than 3. So it says, okay, in order to behave like a more human, there is a reward function, then it gets by trainment. And in fact, ChatGPT used a lot of cheap labors from Kenya because Kenyan people knows this English very well. And I heard there's a team of a couple of thousand people whose only job is to provide them systematic feedback. And today, actually, you also can be part of that feedback network. There are also volunteer networks that tell them, okay, yeah, this response doesn't look like human. It can be more human. You can actually write back a response. So there's a lot of ways you can actually give some kind of human feedback to improve ChatGPT better. Which means that today, what you see as a ChatGPT, it's actually, this is not the end of the life. In fact, this is the beginning of the miracle. So let that comes to the future. So keep it in mind, this ChatGPT that you have seen, they are trained on open source, meaning a public database. Whatever is available publicly as a book, as is in the web, right? So it's trained on that, and that's how it is giving you some response and able to talk. And as I said, it's trained on 175 billion. Now, in future, what you're going to see, and Microsoft is enabling part of that. In fact, it's already a part of the Bing search, which is a public search. But the real impact of job will come more when it will also be integrated with a private database. So what does it mean? Let's say, ask this question, can ChatGPT be my teacher? Answer is yes. You see, you ask ChatGPT in a question for related to math, physics, anything, I can tell you get a better answer than any teacher. Forget about it. But let's say then you ask me, why should I not use it to replace a doctor? I can go to, and I can write ChatGPT, hey, I'm having abdominal pain. This is my situation in pain. Like the way you will chat with the doctor, you can chat with the ChatGPT. After all, it's somebody talking. But can ChatGPT be better than doctor? Answer is no, not today. But then there's the next version of ChatGPT that will be coming, where it will also incorporate private database. What is private database? That is your blood report, your urine report, your medical history. That's a private database. You give that private database to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT already knows everything that a doctor needs to know. Then ChatGPT can actually analyze your private database as well. And I can tell you, it will commit, no offense to the doctor, but it will commit much less mistake. Same thing will happen in the domain of lawyer as well. So are those jobs threatened by this? I would say to some extent, at least at the initial level of consultation, probably nobody will care. They will do by ChatGPT, but then you need specialized consultation that require a lot more creative thinking. And definitely, as I said, ChatGPT has a limitation in creative thinking, which means even doctor has to also up their game. Same with the lawyers. It's already passed all the barcode exam. United States has a very tough bar exam to get to be a lawyer. Different state. ChatGPT with flying color, passing all the bar exams and much better marks sometimes with some of the, to average student. And every day it will only get better. Now, another example of private database can be in the office space. In the office space, for example, or in your company, there'll be a lot of private code. So basically today, all the code that ChatGPT will generate that, Falguni is going to show you, those codes are coming from public Git. The Git repository where there's a public source of code. The moment it will be combined with the private code repository of a particular company, for example, my company, for last 10 years, we have like millions of code written on particular topic. Combine all the two and it become a monster. Basically, I may be today having a couple of tens of software engineer will require probably can be done by 2-3 engineers because he already knows those kind of domain specific code that need to be there, innovate and stuff like that. So in future, what you see is that ChatGPT is only one of the product that is basically kind of a teacher kind of product. I would say, in my view, it's like your all-time teacher in all fit. But it's not really purely assistant because you still don't access your private database. The moment you start accessing your private database of healthcare, your codes, the game will be created in another dimension. Okay. Now, the last question to solve before you go to some kind of demo, that is it threatening and how your job will remain and how you continue to flourish in this post-ChatGPT era. This is the thing that you need to already think and align your character, because if you don't think, you will be behind the things. So here is I start with the good news, because as I said, that history is a good teacher, and if you look at the history, be it technology, ideology or politics, is always centered around human beings. Without human beings, nothing exists. So whenever a political ideology or technology ignored human beings or tried to achieve progress at the expense of human lives, those political ideologies or technologies has simply vanished. So there is absolutely no way there can be an innovation that can vanish the human being. It's not possible. Because ultimately everything is required for the human being. You are the consumer. But then bad news is each time human being had to be relevant with the new innovation that I showed in all the major innovation. Level of education that a human being need to be skilled has been drastically upgraded. What I mean is that if you ask your grandfather or grandparent, they needed a different kind of education. Most of the time, they will be doing a job that is not as skill-based. See, 50 years back, if somebody is having a BTech degree, somebody having a MSc degree, even a BSc degree had a value. You have a piece of paper called certificate had a value. Why? Because nobody was that much after the skill. We are already reaching a stage which is skill based. No longer people will be interested to know whether you have a BTech. It's that way. Everybody is taking its own test. Do you know coding or you don't know coding? Nobody is interested whether you have BTech, MTech or PhD. You want to go to software industry? First thing is, do you know coding or you don't know coding? So Google, Tesla, Microsoft, they have all said they don't need any kind of BTech degree anymore. They have a standard exam, pass the exam. So Google has a Microsoft shape. Google has a coding jam, and Microsoft has a coding chef. We in fact take a lot of questions from that and try to teach the student in our coding club. You pass that exam, fine. I don't even ask you whether you have a BTech, MTech or a PhD degree. You are a software engineer in my domain. So basically it becomes a skill oriented. It's already a skill oriented society. It's no longer a society that value your knowledge. It values your skills. Now the challenge is, because it's a skill driven industry, in pre-chat GPT era, within 5 years, some of your friend is already earning, this all of you will pass out next year, you'll figure out after 5 years, some of you are earning 5 times more than others. Okay. And I have a podcast. You should listen to the podcast. You have a lot of interesting podcasts on your career. I'm coming back to that. But tomorrow, in a post-GPT era, in 5 years, some of your friends are going to earn 15 times more salary, who are smart, who will know how to orient themselves, who can actually foresee how the career is coming. They're going to earn even more. Those will adapt faster. Okay. Now, this is the rule of human evolution. Dinosaurs were very big and very powerful. Did they survive? They did not survive. The animal that survives are rats. Why? The rats are the first mammal to survive this the crash that happened 66 million years back. Why? Because they're small and they're more adaptable. So answer lies in the fact how adaptable you are, meaning with the changing environment, with the changing scene, are you changing yourself, or you are sticking to your old skill and old knowledge? Because that's not going to help. So people who are focused on learning more skills, and I'm telling you, in fact, if you look at my this one, and I have done a lot of case studies on that. So I suggest you should go to our YouTube channel called Cracking IT Jobs. In Cracking IT Jobs, go to playlist. In playlist, there is a series where I've given a tips for getting a high career and salary growth. There is a couple of videos. So one of the videos I've explained that 5 reasons some of your friends will earn 5 times in just 5 years. It's important that you should go through that stuff, and I'm just giving a little bit of summary, which is important. That is, people who have owned in the current software system are the people who have focused on learning more skill over brand, over company. So people who have joined Infosys, TCS, and which is a brand, their salary has stagnated. But the people who have joined product startup company where they have a option to learn more coding, more skills, they are learning 5 times. They are shining. Why? Because we are in an era where skills are more valued. Now with cracking IT, with ChatGPT, this is just going to accelerate more, because no one is interested whether you are a good student or bad student. Why? Because ChatGPT is 10 times, 100 times better student than all of you. Then what is that going to get you more relevancy in the post-ChatGPT era? The relevancy will be how you can use ChatGPT much better, understanding customers human. I use the word human requirement because whenever you do software, whether you do a software or a firmware or anywhere or any political ideology, anything you do in your life, write a poetry or things, keep it in mind, it's all about human beings. It's centered around human beings. This is where you have an advantage as a human being. And in this context, what I mean is the people who will understand why, the answer, why this software code will be required, why I have to write this code, what jobs this software code will do that is directly connected to the business requirement. They are going to win. Now, traditionally, this role is called product management role. In software, they call it a analyst role, who analyze the customer's requirement, because keep it in mind, customer requirement is very human. That cannot be done by ChatGPT, because there are many ways to understand what a customer will do better. But this is exactly going to happen. Coders that understand the requirement better, because they're having a very good skill in humanities, meaning those who understand philosophy, history, arts, literature better, they are going to flourish. No longer the people with a better mathematical brain is going to flourish. And I'm telling you, you can mark my word. You really need to learn a lot more in literature, history, philosophy in order to flourish in future, because more skills will be understanding the human requirement, even in software industry, because ultimately the software will be performing a job for a human society, a community and stuff like that. It's going to be important. In fact, it's interesting that only, one of the, I think I have a great respect for one of the director in IT system, that is IT Gandhinagar. I met him 10 years back and he told me this. So normally in the ITs, all the humanities department are second rated. We have to take like 2 courses and stuffs in humanity, maybe 1 in philosophy, 1 in economics and stuff like that, 1 in language, maybe 3 courses, 1 in psychology. But in IIT Gandhinagar, the new director actually forced the student to learn like probably 7, 8 humanities course, and he was criticized that, why in BTech so much of humanities course was punching. But I'm telling you, he was right on the point. And in fact, IIT Gandhinagar students have excelled among all the new IT system, because they are backed by these new ideas of humanities, because subject of humanities in India are grossly ignored. But you are at a domain where more than mathematics, your knowledge of philosophy, knowledge of psychology are going to help you a lot more than even anything else. Okay. Of course, you have to know the basic thing of coding and stuff like that, but keep it in mind that here your job to make sure that whether ChatGPT is going a good code and what is required. Now, having said that, I am basically, leaving this to Ronak. Ronak, will you take over from that? Who is going to tell you how in CrackGPT, how in cracking IT jobs, we are going to help you out. So Ronak, up to you. So you can actually open your slide, because I don't think I'll be able to navigate the slide. So I think you can start sharing and start talking, and then Falguni will be with our head of software engineering. Will give you some practical example that how ChatGPT writes the code or help improve the code. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So you should start sharing from your side.
You need to stop.
Yeah, I'm stop sharing that. Yeah.
Just a minute. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So here, I just want to tell you that the background of cracking IT job and how it will navigate you in post ChatGPT era. See, cracking IT jobs is a platform. We are basically the consortium of product-based IT organizations based out of US and India. So now the product-based IT organizations, as you have already heard from Dr. Paul, that they are trying to get the best out of best resource. Just 1 minute, let me do the slide. So. Anyway, here I am not getting the option. So, and in Zreyas Technology, Zreyas Technology is leading this consortium, and this consortium is asking for the market ready manpower resource from us. and they're not getting that kind of good resource from the market. Okay, I mean, new fresh talents, they might be good for the service industry, but for a product based organization they are not so good because their skill set is not matching. To overcome this issue, this challenge, we come up with this solution, cracking IT jobs. Here what we do, we basically do training. We cracking IT jobs are dedicated for training, and we do the upskilling of the students to help them gather new skills which is required for IT industry. Then on the job trainings, we get the I mean internal projects from our consortium partners and engage the especially third year and final year students for paid internship in through cracking IT jobs. So, and we also facilitate the companies for conducting interviews. So what first we take the students, put them into internship, see their performance, and if their skill set and performance is matching with the requirement of our consortium partners, we facilitate them to for the interviews. And if we I mean see some there is a skill gap, or there is a I mean there is no more brush up is required, so we created one more platform called Coding Club, where we regularly conduct coding test and the students can do the coding practice in the Coding Club. And also our I mean mentors who are basically 10 to 12 years more than that, 10 to 12 years of experience, they train the students to how to crack the interviews in IT industries. So this is one of our major role, and for this we have created some resources, learning resources. Just a minute. Yeah. So we have our own YouTube channels. We have our more than 56 books in Amazon bookstores. We have our coding clubs, and for paid internship, we also have our captive requirement. As you know, Zreyas is also a IoT and IT based product organization. We also have our captive requirement for software developers, for interns. So those all the jobs has been posted in cracking IT jobs, and this platform is not only used by us but used the company like Gensar, like Machine Sense. They are also using this platform to hire the professionals. I will come more into it, but first let not that interest get diluted. Let Falguni give you the actual demo of why cracking IT and why ChatGPT is required for your career. Then I will come back again for what exactly we can taught to you and what exactly we can do for your future careers. Over to you, Falguni.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Falguni.
Okay. Hi, good evening all. So, okay, so let me share my screen quickly and okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So can I believe everyone can see my PPT, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So in this, course with ChatGPT, we are going to take mainly 5 core languages, like not 5 core languages, I would say. It has some relationship with each other, but 5 main industry leading programming languages, which nowadays most of the companies look for into any software developer. Anybody wants to join any company, any fresher or anybody, if they have any skill on these programming languages, they get a big plus on their interview day, or when they start working on that company, when they get project allotment, everything. So we start off with Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Android, and React.js. So in Python, we are actually covering almost everything, starting with our how Python came into the picture, and using all those conditional statements, everything, and how we can use NumPy, any libraries, all those things. And we are ending it with how we can actually incorporate with a real-time live project. We can actually create some hands-on project with it, and we can see how that is helping us or how we can grow with it, and solving the problems what we face while creating those projects. Whatever issues we are going to face, those issues we will try to solve it by the help of ChatGPT. And we try to write our code, our whatever code we write, we try to optimize that code by the help of ChatGPT, or else we can also ask ChatGPT to help us to write this code. So we can do both ways, and the both ways we will be showing in the Python. Same goes for JavaScript. So JavaScript is not just a simple framework and any programming language. So JavaScript actually contains lot of things. From JavaScript you can go to any server application, Node.js, you can go to React.js, you can go to Vue.js, all those things, right? So knowing JavaScript in the background in your core as a core programming language, that is a big plus, and that's a very strong point to have. So that we are going to do, and same as Python, in JavaScript also we will start with its history, and then we will learn about how this JavaScript can help us, how we can easily write a set of code. Then we will go into the much complicated topics and everything, and we will also write some hands-on project on that. Then on our daily life, we actually use many websites, many things. So in that, the main flavor of any website, nowadays lot of web apps which usually runs in our mobiles also. For them, the most important thing is HTML, CSS. Usually people ignore it, they tend to say, what's in HTML, CSS? But in HTML, CSS, you can actually do lot. There are a lot of things to do, lot of creativity to be done, and lot of new ideas can be generated through HTML, CSS. You can actually build a separate application just by knowing HTML, CSS. Those things can be done. We can also use some amount of JavaScript in that, or some ideas how we can incorporate some other programming languages, or we can also think of we will also learn actually how to apply HTML, CSS. Like I wrote one UI framework, like one website I designed in HTML, CSS, and now how I can incorporate that in a Vue.js framework or in a React.js. So we will learn all those things. Now in Android, we all love to have any Android application. We all love our phone. Daily life, we use lot of applications like WhatsApp, lot of things we use. But the fundamental of it, how this app works, how we can create some cool apps. Even a simple person who has very less knowledge of coding, they also can write a program using by the help of ChatGPT. And then through this course we will see how we can very easily, very flawlessly, we can write a code and build an application, push it to Play Store, make our application live in Play Store so that people can download also. So we will see that. And then we have React.js, which is now nowadays as a web technology one of the hot cake in the market. So any company you go in the world, one way or another, they are doing React.js project, or they are having their internal project on React.js. So these things are there. So in React.js also we will start with its history. Then we will learn how routing works, how we can manage the state in a website, how we can pass a data, how we can manipulate those data and perform certain operations, and lot of hands-on on that, and build certain applications through the React.js. So we will learn all those things, but that is the part of our course what we are going to learn in this, right? But today I want to show all of you just a very small demo of Android application using ChatGPT. I can ask ChatGPT to help me to build an application, and step by step it will guide me. It will give me the code. I will just write it and I will put it on my editor and it will work perfectly. If any error comes, that error we can actually put it, we can ask ChatGPT and it will give us answer. The main part is like why people are going crazy, mainly developers nowadays going crazy for ChatGPT. The main thing is we don't have to waste time. So why I'm saying that? So let's say when we are writing some complex applications, what happens usually, some complex idea comes into the mind. We usually, if we get stuck or something, or some ideas come into the mind, but we cannot visualize it, or we can't do it properly, or the code is not working properly, or we feel there is some memory leak in a particular set of code. So what we usually do, we usually Google it and then go through articles one by one and search for suitable solution, which we feel, okay, this might work. Then we take that solution and try to apply on our code, and then we just run the code and see, okay, whether it's working or not. But in that way, it actually wastes a lot of our time. ChatGPT here saves a lot of time, and in between that, it gives a very comprehensive way to solve a lot of problem. Okay, maybe sometimes it's wrong, but that is very less amount of time. That's how AI works. It always learns, and based on that, it gives best output. Okay. So let's dive into creating one very small Android application. Let's say we all heard of in our engineering, in our CS, we all heard of Hello World in C and C++. Any programming language we take, Hello World is the basic programming application we build. So in here also, let's try to do that, and let's create some problem. Let's create some error in our code itself and see how ChatGPT can help us to solve that. Okay, so let me just fire up. Okay, so let me ask ChatGPT how to create okay. So since it's a free version, it gives me reply a little late. Okay, so it's giving me the answers. So I will come to the steps one by one. Let it give the answer first.
Falguni, is it possible to increase the font size? There is one request.
Is it okay now?
Little more. Yeah, perfect.
All right. Okay. So as we can see here, like, it says that, okay, open Android Studio. So let me give a small background on this. So to create any Android application, we use a tool called Android Studio, which is free, developed and maintained by Google only. So we actually, download that, install it our system, and then from there we start. Even I can ask ChatGPT, what is Android Studio? Okay, so it's giving me the answers. So that's the fun part of ChatGPT. I mean, I can actually write everything on the chat. Based on the context what we are chatting on, it will give me the answers. So okay, so anyway, so I believe we all got the idea, like, how things are working here. Now let's dive into the things. Okay, now first step is, okay, open Android Studio and click on start a new Android Studio project. So I have opened my Android Studio and new project. If I click on that, it gives me lot of options. So, lot of options, lot of things we can do with Android Studio. Let's not get into those things. What ChatGPT says: choose empty activity as your project template, then give your project a name, select a location to save it, and choose a minimum SDK version. All right. So empty activity selected. Go to next. Application name ChatGPT demo. Okay, we are saving on right place. All right. So usually nowadays it's good that we use Kotlin as a programming language, and it's recommended by Google also nowadays for Android application instead of Java. And we can switch that here. We can opt our choice. And then there is option called minimum SDK API 22. I mean, the meaning of it's like, if you have an Android L, M, O, N, M, all those versions. So whatever, like, that would be the minimum, that should be the minimum OS in your mobile application to download this app, right? So whenever from Play Store you try to download certain application, it always checks in the background that whether that minimum SDK requirement matches or not. If it does not match, then it will say that, okay, you are not eligible to download, or you have no phone to download this. Such message comes. Okay, so right now let's keep it as same, and let's click on finish. If we click on finish, Android Studio comes up and start building the start building the source code, Gradle build, we say. So we can ask at GPT also, what is Gradle build? See, I haven't asked for Gradle build. What is for this context? Based on the context, it's taking automatically. I haven't asked anything. I just asked what is Gradle build. That's it, and it's giving me the answer, right? So now this I mean, we can say whatever libraries and everything we are going to use, we are going to put it inside the Gradle, and that will help us. to be short and answered. Okay, now let's go to the, okay, now it says okay, in the activity underscore main dot xml file, which defines the layout of your app, add a text view element. So in this, so in order to understand the architecture, we will need the whole course curriculum to go through. But right now, in a brief, I'm saying, so whatever screen we are going to see, those are usually actually these XML files. These are the UIs, right? So if we just go here, what Android does nowadays, they actually write the code by default. They usually create the widget by default, and we can replace it, and or else we can keep the same. So we can do that, which whatever is written here, our ChatGPT is also showing that, right? So once we are doing that, we can just associate it with our functional code. That means our Kotlin code. If we just go here and we can actually call that particular item. So if I want to change the text color or text, if I want to change the text itself or anything, if I want to perform any action through this text view, I will call that here, and then after binding it, whatever action I want to do, I can write the set of code here, right? So to do this, whatever it says, if I just directly copy it and just paste it here, see, it actually takes the code. Yeah, but we don't have this. We don't have this ID. Let me create the ID here. So it's throwing this error. Okay, let's okay, this is a good thing. Let's ask this to ChatGPT. This is good. Okay. So I asked it to ChatGPT about the error. See, it's giving me the actual answer. What's the issue here and how I can solve it. See? Yes. So that's the fun part here. Like whenever we face any kinds of problem in the code, we actually ask ChatGPT and it gives us the answer, and we can actually try them out. It usually fixes the problem. So that's the fun part of it. We save a lot of time. We actually get a lot of correct answer, optimized code, proper way of doing things, and it gets done. So it says that first is the answer. First thing is the answer. So whether this text view variable is declared in your code or not, make sure that you have declared it as text view object. Correct ID matches the ID in your layout file. But unfortunately, this particular ID haven't been put in here. So if I go here and put ID and then put it here, we can see this will.
Falguni, can you increase the font size? Student cannot see, even I cannot see.
I can do that. One moment.
Just just focus on that.
Okay. Okay, let me check this.
It's all right. I think you can.
One moment. I'm trying that. Okay.
Yeah, go to file and settings.
Yeah, file and settings. I'm searching that, then edit, editor. I'm trying to find preference. It has changed this with this new update. It has changed.
So are you on Android Studio now?
Yes, I'm on Android Studio.
I think let take a help from ChatGPT. Ask him.
Yeah. One moment, please. One moment. Settings. Okay. Appearance. Okay, so let me increase it to 48.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked.
It's 45, it's showing. You to 72. Make it 72.
It's in presentation mode. In presentation mode, it will be that. One
Apply.
moment.
Do apply and see.
No.
No, it's not doing anything. Anyhow, so let's do one thing. So we don't want to waste time. So basically, all you need to do just only share your screen on the ID. I think that will be better.
Yes.
Shumit, it's not working. He already tried that. Yeah, just open it. We don't have time. Let's not waste time because I think
I found it. So let's change it to maybe 30.
No, that's fine. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
this is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, better.
So what we can do, we actually can try to find out, whatever the problems we are going to face and what are the things we need to do in order to incorporate all the data. So let's say whatever error we saw that error here, and then we tried to find the issue and we saw the solution like this. Okay, so now once I see this, if I just, now it says on your onCreate method, check that you initialize the text view variable on your code. You should be following line on your code on create method and put this line of code, right? So let me just quickly, yeah. So let me put this. Okay. So what I have done, so this one also was giving me one error here. It's just importing the library of text view. That's the by default what we get from Android Studio. So I just imported that. Even ChatGPT also told me about this. See, import Android.widget text view should be there. So that has been done. Now, whatever I want to do. So let's say I want to have a click event on the text. So if I want to say, okay, let's say this text view is the element, and on the text view, if I say, all right, let's not write the code. Let's ask ChatGPT how to say event. Okay, so I asked it. Let's see. See, it gave me the answer actually. Now, so it actually told me, make sure you have done this part. So we have already done this part. Now we are into this. We are just clicking, like we want to do this on click listener part. And if I just go here and put the code, it will work. But there is a fun part. If I scroll down, it actually gives me the full code along with some add-on. So let's say if I click on it, and if I actually write this code and run it, nothing will happen actually. Nothing. I can't see anything. The background, okay, click event is working and all those things are there, but nothing will happen unless and until I put some action here. This is the trigger. I'm just clicking on and doing this, doing that. Now, if I just want to show some message on a toast, so this is a toast suggested by our favorite ChatGPT, and we just put it here, and there you go. Here. And we can play with, obviously we can play with the code. We can say, okay, ChatGPT suggested us to write this code. Now I can say, okay, I can write length that was short. I can say, okay, so for long length, for longer period of time. So these things can be done with ChatGPT. This is a very basic, very minimal application which we have just done today by the help of ChatGPT, and we saw some errors also. How we can solve those errors through ChatGPT, we actually saw. And on top of that, if I want to do something extra, I will just, I won't do that today, but I will just show it. So let's see. Let's say in my screen, you can see if I click on this light mode and dark mode, that's the one of the craziest software thing from past few years people love, right? So in every mobile application nowadays, we can see that. So now if I just write here how to create dark so see, it actually gives me the steps, code, and what I have to do. If I actually see, it will write everything. It's a pretty complex code, pretty lot of things are there, and lot of understanding needs to be there. But if we actually put careful consideration, like what it is doing for us, is saving lot of time. It's saving lot of things, like we need not to go to Google and search lot of articles. It actually generating real-time code along with the color codes. Obviously I can change the color codes as per my liking, and that is there, but it is giving me all those options. So it is keep on writing unless and until the whole thing is finished. So obviously I can stop it, but yeah, so let's see where it goes. Yeah, so we are done here now. Here it shows that, okay, I have to create these tiles, then I have to assign these color codes, then I have to call the theme here, then I have to switch it here. All these things has been done, and based on whatever questions I asked, based on that all the answers I got. Now any doubts we are going to have on this code, I can obviously ask ChatGPT and get the answer out of it. Yeah. So I believe that is for today from my side. Anybody have any queries, you can ask. And over to Ronota.
Thanks, Falguni. Now I am sharing my screen. Just a minute.
Ronak, can you pack it up in 2-3 minutes, because I have to go, so I'll be
yes sir, it will not take more than 3 minutes.
Yeah, so then I'll be able to take questions from them, and then probably 10 minutes I leave.
So from the presentation of Biplab sir and Falguni, we can understand that how ChatGPT is going to change the IT ecosystem and why knowledge as well as hands-on exposure on coding using ChatGPT essential to get the job in IT companies. So, and I have already mentioned in our my earlier session that we have a consortium of product-based IT companies, namely basically Prophecy Corporation, Machine Sense, CBW, Manhattan Communication, Genser, Motifox India Private Limited, Cine DGM Corporation, etc. So, and
So
these
no, I just have to clarify what this consortium. So basically, look, I mean, it's actually more than many such companies which hire a couple of hundreds, not in a couple of 10,000 that Infosys TCS does, but they actually offer much better job and better career growth. And I talked to almost all of the CEOs, HR managers, mostly the CEO level, and everybody is very keen to see how a fresher student can perform better with ChatGPT. So everyone that will be joining the course, and we believe that have sincerely done our course, almost guaranteed to get an interview in many of the companies, not once. Because over the years, what happened, as you know, that even last year, you might have seen that your college might have 100% or 80% placement, but most of them, maybe 90% of them are being rejected by the company even after 3 months, 4 months. Infosys have thrown out 8,000, TCS is going to throw another 12,000. So basically, we are not into Infosys and TCS. Even if I have the opportunity to place in Infosys, TCS, you're not getting there. We are only interested in the companies that work in the product, work in a good areas, because I know that your career growth can only be fostered by the companies that work in advanced skills. And many of them are will also give us internal projects, especially we are in advanced talks, where you will be able to do ChatGPT on training as well. But this will be after you learn through these courses in 2 months. Yeah, Rona, go ahead. Ronak, go ahead, please. Hello? Ronak, we can't hear you. Ronak, we can't hear you.
What sir rightly said that we are placing the students in this product-based IT companies. Now, these companies are facing a problem that to get a good coder. That's why this consortium has been made, and this platform of cracking IT jobs has been made to supply them a good quality of coders for mainly product-based IT companies. So here the challenge statement is not the it is not like that job is not there. It is like that we are not getting suitable coders. So to overcome this challenge, we have come up with this solution, that we are launching one training program that how to do coding using ChatGPT. Now simple, you can have a question that why you should consider us, because we are the only platform in Eastern India who is providing this kind of job oriented training on ChatGPT, specifically on ChatGPT. And we are providing 100% job assistance in the product based IT companies. It is specifically for product based. And as we are also a product based IT and IoT organization, Zreyas Technology, as a lead member of this consortium, we also have our captive requirement for our software team, who can work closely with Falguni and their teams.
Yeah, I mean, we ourselves are planning to take approximately 50 to 60 interns and stuff, because we are also expanding fast. Anyhow, so I think I have to leave. Ronak, you should continue. So before I leave, if student have the question, let me answer and then you can continue.
Yes,
okay, Ronak, because I have to leave in 10 minutes. So I would request Amrita, anybody in the JIS group, if student have any question, I'll be happy. And then, if you have any coding related questions or any sales related question, you can ask Ronak. But because I'll be there for next 10 minutes, just ask me if you have any other career related question, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for your delivery and presentation. Silpi, could you please take any question raised in chat box or not?
Yeah, so chat box, I'm not seeing any question right now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Then
I'm
okay,
not
sir.
seeing any question. Then
Audience,
From
any
audience,
student has
any
asked any
question?
question? Did any question? Student has any question in YouTube live? That's my question.
audience, you can put your questions in the chat box, YouTube live.
Yeah, they can put it question in YouTube live. It can be transferred. I'm there for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Then I have to leave actually. So that's what I'm doing. And then Falguni can actually explain how the registration and the course will work.
Okay, sir, it's all right, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, it seems like nobody is interested to ask any questions. Seems like they did it today. They have a, so I think that's good because you have a chat GPT. You can go and ask them the question actually. I can only give the answer. I can promise. I mean, because I'm playing so much with chat GPT, I will only give you the answer that chat GPT will not be able to give. Because more you stay with it, stay with this bot, you realize what this bot can do and what cannot do. That's all. Okay. So anyhow, so Ronak, then you should go ahead and I'm leaving. So
Yeah,
thank you all. We'll get your
hello,
feedback.
Just a
sir.
minute, sir. Biplab, sir, just a minute.
Yes,
Please,
yes,
Sir,
please.
wait for.
sir, one question asked from audience: how to get start ChatGPT?
Oh, that's very question. Just search ChatGPT login and create a login. That's it.
Okay. Next question: is ChatGPT killing our creativity?
It opposite. ChatGPT will give you the creativity because the thing is, whenever you deliver any engineering product, part of it is creativity and part of it is rote learning and engineering and stuff like that. It's completely opposite. ChatGPT is not at all creative. I experimented a lot with ChatGPT, especially in the domain that I know, that how I will be teaching. I'll give you the life example, right? I asked ChatGPT how it will prepare the seminar. I didn't follow that. I actually started with a lens of history, which I thought will be more important. So it is not. It's actually not going to create creativity. It is going to give you more creativity, but that's the challenge because in none of the exam, because I'm actually West Bengal board, then IT and stuff like that. But in none of the exam, not a single professor has ever tested my creativity, which was my regret all along because these exams are rot exam. But I had to be creative by being a part of dramatic society, by writing literature, and now I'm doing a lot of product for last 10 years. So that's give my creative pleasure. So the challenge is actually opposite. That is, how could you be better than ChatGPT? And you can be better than ChatGPT only by being super creative. And this is why I told that being coming faster, last in the exam will be immaterial right now. And because I have totally exercised my domain into creativity, I can see the weakness in ChatGPT that why it is still not as good as human beings, especially those are creative human beings. So it is completely opposite. It is going to challenge you on creative tasks, and that is going to be the main problem now on. Yeah, go ahead. So
Thank you, sir.
another asking is ChatGPT is going to be better than CodeRed. My answer to you is that look, ChatGPT or the Git-based stuff or the Google, okay, or the Amazon, all of them will come with a similar product. In another 2 years, they'll be all same. They'll all behave like a human being. The product-wise, there are not going to be much difference in all of that. So that's immaterial question in my view. The question that we'll be asking is, how can you boost your creativity so that you understand that you can add a lot more to ChatGPT, which is useful to your organization, useful to the actual productive thing. And it will be very challenging because none of you have ever been tested on your creativity. In fact, if I look at my career, like in my school life and then college life in IT, and then I was also not in Narendra schools. Only creative things that we could do in our time, a little bit of dramatics, like I used to write dramatic script, a little bit of extempores, right? We would be practicing extempore, debate, then music societies and stuff like that, poetry. Those are the domain of creativity. But if you come back to our domain of where even you have to study, English or Bengali or mathematics or physics or chemistry, there's not a single scope of being creative in entire education system. And this is not going to be challenged by ChatGPT because if you are not creative, you're not going to add anything more than ChatGPT, and that means you are not that more valuable anymore. You cannot add more. But as I said, that's why you ask the question how you remain relevant by being more creative. Okay, is there any more question?
Yes, sir. Another question is how ChatGPT helps to growth our economy.
It is going to be massive boost to the economy. So what is basically economy? Economy is the more productivity, right? To today, ChatGPT, see, previously, whatever the job that would have been done by 10 software engineers, now it can be done by one software engineers. Now, how you get a software engineering job? 95% of the software engineering job is out of R&D investment. What is R&D investment? In economic term, it comes from surplus labor, meaning is a surplus capital that is to be invested in R&D to grow the economy. So I am playing with, let's say, $1,000. In $1,000 today, let's say I can, let's say I have a $1 million, I can hire only 100. So tomorrow also it's the same thing, but this 100 can give me X output. Now they're going to give me 10X output, meaning I should be able to fund more research, meaning more innovation, meaning more growth. In fact, this is going to be a very accelerated good situation now on. Okay. So from every domain, think about even other way around, like if you're asking any medical student, especially the doctors, which you're always afraid of getting a wrong answer from, because that's the life and death. I think it's difficult today to find a family member who didn't suffer because of wrong decision from doctors. But I'm not criticizing them. Error is human always. These are going to stop. You see an immense improve in productivity of the doctors. I'm telling you, doctors will be also one of the first one to take help. They will ask ChatGPT, suggest me. So in overall, there'll be this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Another question one asked that can a programmer sustain with ChatGPT without customizations of knowledge?
Yes, they can. I mean, if they can, that I don't understand your question, but I believe that what you are asking is that whether the ChatGPT can use the private database. So customization of knowledge essentially always lead to the fact that you have a custom database, right? Ultimately, these are all database driven. Do you have a custom database means do you have a custom private? So obviously, as I told you, the future of ChatGPT will be basically you have to also train. So today ChatGPT is only trained by OpenAI. In future, there will be hybrid product where you have the public domain knowledge plus you have a custom knowledge domain, which is guarded by your company, like your Git code. And I explained that. And you combinedly do a differential training. And ChatGPT already I told you that it can take a reinforcement learning. You can easily do some kind of adaptive and differential learning for that custom domain you're talking about. And then can get you those custom answers. So I'm not sure whether I answered your question, but I thought you mean that.
Sir, next question, how to utilize ChatGPT effectively for coding?
That I think already Falguni has shown, and that's why you should be attending these courses. That's a huge topic. It's a huge topic. It can write code for you. It can improve your code. It can help you to get better code idea. It can actually get you all the debugging, all the things that Falguni has shown. And this is exactly what you'll be learning. So we are going to teach you in a very different way than your teachers or anybody will teach you. We'll show you how to use ChatGPT extensively to get better at coding. So that is exactly what all these courses are about. Yes, please. Next one.
Okay, from audience, 2-3 audience raised a question that is, it is showing error in when sign up in ChatGPT.
Yeah, so ChatGPT, what is happening is that there is a lot of volumes of requests compared to like what they have right now. So it's a problem right now, but I think ChatGPT CEO has promised within a month they're putting up more resources. Also, right now there is a paid, and that is why I actually had to pay, because if you are in a paid version, then it doesn't crash. You will always be getting a preferential access. So I have almost 100% uptime right now. So I'd say the wait for like another 2-3 months and you'll be getting a very stable input. But I believe that you have to at a certain point go to the paid version. Otherwise, this problem will remain. Yep. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So Gourango Bansal has a question that can you give a creative solution to the math problem? The answer is not in this version. So mathematics is also language, and current ChatGPT 3 3.5 is not well trained in mathematical language. Just some training in mathematical language, but not all. So what I understand talking to his CTO is that, I mean, he had a podcast actually, that in future ChatGPT, as I said, this is the beginning of the journey. In future ChatGPT, they will be more focusing on mathematical language, which is the language of research and science. So there, so Gorango, that you actually have to wait for the next version of ChatGPT to come up, which will be more proficient in mathematical languages, in understanding, and then they should be able to give you some more creative answer, because it will be able to interpret the mathematical language much better, because current ChatGPT is not very good at mathematical language. Maybe it's mathematical ability at a middle school level, not even high school level. Forget about advanced level. So that's the next version of ChatGPT. You have to wait to see whether ChatGPT can give some creative answer to mathematical question. Today, all they will be give is everything that has been solved. Yeah. Anything more? Then I should leave it to Ronak to finish, like how student can register, what they registers and stuff like that. Okay.
Have you, hi Bip,
Biplab sir.
Sure.
Can
One second,
you
sir.
ask any paradox question?
Hello.
Yes.
Biplab sir, are you there?
GPT?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just wait for a few seconds, sir. Amrita madam,
Yes, sir.
please do the formalities, please.
Yes. So, sir, from our whole CSC department of JSC, we have designed one token of
Actually,
appreciation.
hello, madam, please.
Yes. Yes. Just a moment.
You need to share your screen so that you can show to all.
Yes, it is visible. Sir,
But
this is token
no,
of appreciation.
one
Yes,
screen
sir.
has already been shared. That should be
Oh,
stopped
okay.
first.
Okay, audience, I'm sharing that feedback form, and it is mandatory to fill up, because to get that certificate of participation, you need to fill up that form. I'm sending that link in YouTube chat box. Okay.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so thank you. Let Ronak actually explain the last part of the seminar, which is about how they will, go ahead with the registration and what is the expectation. In any case, I'm available all the time. You can ask this thing, but I'm telling you, you cannot take your eyes off the ChatGPT. This is the most happening thing in the world right now for your career. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amrita, and thank you, actually. So
Yes,
let
thank
Ronak finish the seminar, because he has to speak some important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just I want to present my last slide. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So to address the problem that our consortium partner is not getting the proper resource, proper quality of resource. So we launched this training program, and the question comes obviously that why us? Why you consider us as a training provider? So sorry. We are the only platform in Eastern India who is providing this kind of job-oriented training on ChatGPT, as well as we are providing 100% job assistance in the product-based IT companies. As we are also the one of the product-based IT company, we have our captive requirement in our software team. And this training is 100% job-oriented training, and the total course duration is 8 weeks, 32 hours. It will be conducted on weekends only, because in weekdays you have the classes. And to start with, we have only considered 50 seats. Seats are very limited, and we are planning to start the first batch on 25th of February. As in my previous slide, you can already seen that there is more than 400 jobs available with us. Till we have taken only 50 students. We want to take only 50 students, because we have to ensure the quality to our consortium partners. Now, the trainers and mentors are from industry only. We are not hiring the trainers from outside. They are from our consortium. They are the regular employees of our consortium, and they are the regular coders like Falguni and their team. And in the training there will be two tests. One is formative test and one is summative test. And of course, we will provide the certificate. Zreyas Technology will provide the certificate to the students who will pass both the tests. And we will share the students' profile who complete the training and test, who pass the test. And we will assure the 100% job assistance to the students. And there will be 5 courses already Falguni has described. And every course has 2 modules. One is basic module, one is advanced module. So there is a nominal fee. We have kept this to filter out to get the good quality and serious people into the course. The basic course fee is 499, that is 5,000 rupees, and the advanced course is 9,900 rupees. So an entire thing is online. If you want to register and want to enroll yourself in this course, you just need to click in this link, or you can connect your training placement officer of your college, so she can guide you in this regard. That's it from my end.
Hello, thank you, Ronak. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Ronak, and thank you, Falguni also. Any question from audience? Just a minute. Give me 1 or 2 minutes. Any question from audience? No, sir. Still now, no question raised in chat box.
Okay. No issue. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for your delivery and presentation. Shilpi, could you please pop up those appreciation certificate? Okay. Thank you, Ronak, sir. This is a small token of appreciation from entire CSC department of JSC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you. And thank you, Falguni, sir, for your delivery and presentation. This
Thank
is
you.
a small token of appreciation from entire CSC department.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Apurva, sir?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Could you please say some words on vote of thanks?
Okay. So, respected faculty members and dear participants, on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, and its entire fraternity, I feel immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks to Dr. Biplab Pal, CTO and co-founder of Machine Sense, JIS Technology, and Optip companies. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Paul, who has spared his precious time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion and enlighten all of us with the idea of ChatGPT in this webinar. Thank you very much, sir. I would further extend the hearty thanks to Honorable MD Sir, Mr. Taranjit Singh, JIS Group, and respected Principal Sir, Dr. Partha Sarkar, and Registrar Madam Sheila Singh Ghosh, for being a constant source of motivation and guiding force in our endeavor and efforts to excel in the field of education. I'd especially thank our HOD Sir, Dr. Vikranjit Sarkar, for his unfaltering support and confidence in us. He is the backbone of our department and the guiding force for every new step forward. I'd like to thank all the faculty members, system admins, and all the technical staffs of my department. My deep sense of thanks and appreciation goes to all the participants who have been live with us and has attended the webinar with great enthusiasm and has made it a great success. Thanks to all of you. Last but not the least, I would thank Mr. Povitra Kumar Bhunia for his technical support, and thanks to all those whose names were not mentioned. And in the end, thank you all so very much for being with us today, and have a wonderful day ahead. So that's all from my side. over to Dr. Amrita Madam.
Thank you all for joining.